come collect that. So people that may want to sign up need to hurry up. And we'll get those final.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the City Council, January 23, 2023, our first meeting of the year. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Krug, could we have a roll call vote, or a roll call of who's present?
Councilmember Snow.
Here.
Hughes.
Here.
Wozniak.
Here.
Wilms.
Here.
Fowler.
Here.
Hanschel.
Here.
Mayor Flynn.
Here. I'd like to start by welcoming our new council members, Craig Hanschel and Wendy Hughes, and also our new city clerk, Wanda Krug. She's been very busy since we had quite a long agenda for our very first work session and meeting. First thing we'll do is have a citizen input session. You get 3 minutes to speak, and I'll call people in order. The first one is Don Sennett of 22 Brittany Lane.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the council for all the work they did on the STR regulations. I also would encourage the council to permanently table what you have listed as unfinished business, since we already have a regulation you passed that seems adequate. Next, I'd like to address a bigger issue. Through all the discussion of the STRs, the issue of septics seemed to be a continuing thread. It's as if we have a ticking time bomb of septic in our community that will eventually threaten our groundwater, the cleanliness of our streams and lakes, and the health of our neighborhoods. I would like to encourage the council to create a working group, perhaps chaired by Councilman Fowler, although I didn't ask him about this, with the express purpose of creating an ordinance to regulate the maintenance and inspection of septic systems throughout the community of Bella Vista. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Oscar Hanson of 9 Park Ridge Drive.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the council and Mayor, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to express a concern about the ordinance for taking it from a resident single family to a C2 light commercial district, and it's on the petition rezoning of number 2022-46-586. I walked that property today. I live facing that property in question. That property line does not stop at the wooded area. It goes into that wooded area approximately 15 feet. Also, I'd like to also recognize and state that with our homes facing that rezoning area that's being asked to be rezoned, for 6 months out of the year, there will be no leaves on trees, no shrubbery to protect us from the lights from anything that's a commercial district. That is a concern to us for our privacy. We bought our homes there realizing that that property across from us was zoned as residential, and it was to be residential. Now it's being asked to go to a C2. We have no idea what's going to be put in there. I hope the council does, but we don't. I mean, that's why we're objecting and really criticizing this decision to do that. And we really and truly hope that you will consider that in your decision here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person is Becky Van Meter of 18 Park Ridge Drive.
This is my very first meeting, and here I am speaking, and I promise to behave myself. So, thank you to like I said, it's my first time, so I'm looking forward to other meetings as well, so I can learn more about how this works. I'm here about the same issue that the former person just did about the selling of that property and turning it into commercial, C2, I believe it's C2. And I know that the guys from Cooper didn't get to speak last time, so I'm going to give them an opportunity to speak because I have questions for them, and that's where I'll start. What will Cooper do to ensure the privacy and safety of the impacted homeowners?
Ma'am, you need to direct your comments.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that I would hope he has an opportunity to answer that question. And the safety is about the construction if they are going to be constructing and then the parking lot, the lighting. And I was wondering if there'd be a safety personnel, especially at night. Will Cooper maintain ownership of the property adjacent to Park Ridge Drive? There would be some comfort with a known entity if they're going to hang on to it. What is the plan for the trees that currently shelter homeowners' property? Because there was always demolition of trees when there's something like this going on. And what is the plan for the trees that are adjacent to the cemetery? The cemetery is a sacred place, and we certainly don't want to take away any privacy from that. Where will the signage be located if the C2 zoning request is approved? I'd be interested in knowing that because I'm right next door to it. And the last thing that I have to say is the lack of detailed information has created much speculation and uncertainty among the homeowners. Please consider sharing at least high-level details about intentions for the property. Many chose the Park Ridge development as their retirement home and have fallen in love with the community. the Cooper family founders would be pleased with your kindness. That's it.
Thank you. Next speaker is first, I'm having trouble reading this name, first initial M, last name Wynn at 5 Buckingham Drive.
Mark Orsa, 5 Buckingham.
Okay.
I apologize, John. That wasn't my strong suit, so. Just up here. I'm here tonight to discuss a little bit about Resolution Q. There was some conversation last week in the work session that was brought up by Jerry discussing about conflict of interest. I believe this is a conflict of interest by appointing Linda Lloyd. And the reason is she's a current real estate broker in Northwest Arkansas. She has access to buyers and sellers, builders, planners, all kinds of stuff. So the Planning Commission's responsibilities are large-scale developments, incidental subdivisions, plats. You can see where I'm going with this. I feel that any real estate agent, builder, or what have you, shouldn't be in this position at all. Just a mere sense of improprieties is enough. So that's how I feel about it. I think having someone in that position, they can be compromised very easily. They show developments or properties. I'm not saying she would do that, but people get into situations. I think you should reconsider that position to somebody else or keep it vacant. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker is Tom Judson from 36 Kintyre Lane.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of the POA. We have 4 rezoning requests in front of you, all of them to C1. We're trying to match the historical use of all 4 of those properties with the correct zoning. Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of me over the next several months because we found 20 different parcels that were zoned incorrectly way back when the city was created. So our intent is to just get it, all those parcels to match the historical usage of those properties. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mark Huber of number 7 Park Ridge.
Hi. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for allowing us to speak. My wife and I live at number 7 Park Ridge. I owned that property for about 9 years, and my wife could give you the exact dates. I can't. Prior to moving to Bella Vista, I served on City Council for 10 years. I understand the importance of trusting your city's committees and their commissions. They are your boots on the ground. They've spent a great deal of time and effort speaking to the residents of Highland Park Villas. We are the only community directly affected by the rezoning at Lancashire and Buckstone. They evaluated the wants and the needs of the city. They took into consideration our changing demographics and the need for additional housing. They made a determination that the city would be best served in the future if the parcel in question remained as it was first zoned, and that it was zoned residential. I urge you, and we urge you, not to impede, void, or negate their hard work and deny this current appeal of their decision. Thank you for your time and your service to our wonderful city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jim Parsons of 29 Duval Lane.
I am Jim Parsons, and I'm chairman of the Bella Vista Patriots, live on Lake Avalon. And as you know, the Architectural Control Committee has ordered us to take our white fences down. And we feel like that is unreasonable. It's arbitrary and it's capricious, and we want to fight that. We just feel like that what the heck is wrong with a white fence? There are white fences all around the world. We'd be the only city probably in the world that don't have white fences and have a ban on it. So I went to the Attorney General, and she said that there are no laws that she could hang her hat on to make an opinion. So I went to the Benton County Circuit Court, and Judge Scott said that there are no laws regulating a 501c4 like ACC, and they could pretty well do whatever they want. And they can fine you and charge you fees and sell permits to you, and then raise the price any way they want to, and you have no recourse and you have no way to do anything about it. So the Bella Vista Patriots are going to rent a bus, and we're going to next month go to the City Council Governmental Affairs Committee, and we're going to try to lobby to have some laws so that these entities will have something to hang their hat on. And this is what we did in 2005. It got you your job. And where you are right now is what we did in the Patriots loading a bus and lobbied the legislature to make it possible for Bella Vista to become a city. We are a city now, and we have city ordinances, and that should take care of anything that the people want, not what Cooper wants. I thank you for your service and things you do, and appreciate your letting us speak tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jim Waters of 4 Brighton Lane.
I'd like to thank the City Council and the members for hearing me tonight. My topic is rezoning petition number 2022-46586, which is off of by the cemetery. And I request that, since the world has changed since this original planning was done, to how that was going to be zoned in future planning, I request that we table any rezoning until the future plan can be reviewed, and anything that's planned for that zoning be shared at a high level with the community, and you have an open forum so they can hear what you're really planning for it. Because I feel at this point, there's a lot of people upset because they don't know. I think if you would open that up, it might make things a lot easier for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jean Grosclose of Cooper Communities.
Good evening, I'm Gene Grosclose. I represent Cooper Communities. I don't have a lot to add to the appeal. The appeal speaks for itself. I'm sure all of you have reviewed it. I would like to reiterate that this is an appeal, and it is a new hearing, not based upon a planning committee vote, whether it is for or against. And we just are attempting at this point to bring our zoning in line with the comprehensive plan. I know that when Taylor with planning presents her information to you, you can clearly see that it's merely bringing this piece of property within the comprehensive plan the council's already passed. I know there's a lot of concern by the neighbors as far as the development of the property. Again, this is not concerning the development. This hearing is not. It's simply bringing us in line with the comprehensive plan. The development process will have an entirely new process where community input and community concerns can be when there is a specific plan for the development. At this point in time, there is not a specific plan for the development, merely attempting to bring it in line with the comprehensive plan. So we ask that you consider this carefully. We do ask for approval of this rezone and appreciate the opportunity to address you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Roberta Gareline of 19 Park Ridge Drive. Apologize if I got that last name wrong.
You were close.
Okay, I think you all can hear me. I just have one point I would like to raise in terms of the rezoning for the area that we've all been discussing. One of the things a lot of people don't realize, they say there's a big ravine there, lots of trees, you can't see anything. Well, that's true, except if you live on Park Ridge, you realize the ravine starts up here on the other side and we're down here. So any traffic, any lights shine directly down into your homes and into your bedroom. Or at least that's where the car lights that go by. So it's a real concern to us that the amount of traffic that would come down that road in the evening. If you have a business that stops at 5 o'clock, it's not quite a problem. But if you have apartment houses or something else, then we've got a real issue for our area. And noise just travels across that ravine. I would like to compliment Cooper on the foresight to develop 150 homeowners association. There isn't any such thing as that anywhere. And it's really, really nice. And for the city to have that as a model, you need to protect it. People love that area. They see what it's like, they see what it is for the elderly, and like I said, I think you all should be proud of it, and I thank Cooper for coming up with that design and model. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Beverly, I can't make out the last name, of 12 Park Ridge.
Thank you for hearing me. My name is Beverly Phillips, and I've lived at 12 Park Ridge Drive since 2014. And as Roberta said, there are 157 homes in Highland Park Homeowners Association, 35 of which are on Park Ridge. Currently, 67 widows reside in our community, with 8 residing on Park Ridge. I am one of the 8. We make up 42% ownership of the homes. If you ask people why they chose this location, they will tell you ease of living as we age, and reality that eventually the one left behind will be left in a safe and secure place. Rezoning to C2, which covers a wide spectrum with no knowledge of what is planned, is a huge threat to our security. I ask you, the council, if your quality of life and your home's values were in this situation, to think about how you would respond. Cooper Communities, who once found the home at 1 Park Ridge a premier location for their model home, now wants to rezone the back of 1, 3, and 5 Park Ridge to an unknown entity. What we do know is any commercial entity comes with parking lots, back doors, parked cars, traffic in and out, people hanging out, dumpsters emptied in the wee hours, overhead lighting invading the homes all night, and an unknown element coming into our community, possibly threatening the safety of our elderly. What do you think this does to the possibility of selling our homes and our property values? Once rezoned, it will be no problem to rezone the rest of the property down to the Bella Vista Cemetery, and how it might interfere with its historical Civil War section, not to mention those who find peace and solitude in visiting their loved ones who have passed. Cooper Communities' rebuttal says the parcel is protected from nearby residential areas by a large timberland buffer. In the last 2 meetings we have attended, there has been a dispute. First, the 500 feet off of the property line of house number 1 to 250 feet. Last meeting, when challenged, it was down to 150 or 125 feet. We have the right to know exactly. Walking lot number 1, I believe you will see that all the trees on the 2 acres will need to be removed, which comes to the ravine, as Roberta had mentioned. And yes, there are trees at the bottom but they do not come up high enough to block any vision of a commercial building from their backyard or inside their home. I encourage you to walk the property and ask yourself if there are accusations that residents were misleading or lacked basis in fact is true. There is a continuing interest in making Bella Vista a destination location with an emphasis on a safe place to live and enjoy the
Ma'am, your
outdoors.
3 minutes is up, sorry. Thank you very much. Next person is Larry Kelly of Collar Lane.
Good evening. So I've been at a number of city council meetings recently, and I wasn't able to make the work session last time. And I'll admit that I haven't had time to look at the recording of that, but someone was telling me that a conversation sprung up about eliminating public comment. No? Was that incorrect?
Yes.
And that concerned me. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. That concerned me because, I mean, as we're seeing right here, that's an important part of communication from the people that are electing the officials and governing. So I think that's important. I would hate it if that ever happened, because I'd understood that it is something that other municipalities don't necessarily allow or have a provision for, but I would really hate that to happen in Bella Vista. Because I think it's the public square. This is where we come to dissent, to share our opinions. Thank you, Mr. Williams. This is where we get an opportunity to share those things. And so, as the public square, I think we should have the opportunity to do so unimpeded. And so, please, don't consider that. I hope it doesn't get any legs. Thanks.
The next speaker is Timothy Ainge of 5 Park Ridge Drive.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Thanks for having us. I assume that everybody has reviewed the appeal from CCI Industries to the council, and it's really based, it was said that it had nothing to do with the Planning Commission, but if you read it, it does have something to do with the Planning Commission. It starts out that Cooper, in their appeals, state that the Planning Commission denial is arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable. I think it's fair to ask, what is unreasonable about a no vote? What is capricious about a no vote? What is arbitrary about a no vote? Nothing. And I find that the use of the word capricious interesting. The definition of that is capricious, gives to sudden and unacceptable changes in mood behavior. None of that was exhibited at the Planning Commission meeting I attended. That is far from the truth. So I think, or I wonder if Cooper Industries is trying to buffalo the Planning Commission as well as maybe the City Council. So I encourage you to read and study that appeal that they sent to you, because I think there's a lot of innuendos in there that are not true. I, for one, am not eager to have a commercial building 30 or 50 feet from my back property. And I don't think any one of you are either, because you don't know what it's going to bring. It's the uncertainties of what's there. So I ask you to please consider voting no on this in light of the citizens of Bella Vista in light of the people who support you and expect you in turn to support us. We can't do it by ourselves, it's up to you. But I found some things in that appeal that it's like poor old Cooper. And I don't like people saying that, well, something was miszoned from the beginning. What's that mean? What's miszoned from the beginning? It really probably constitutes nothing. There wasn't any choices, maybe. But nevertheless, I please ask you to consider this thoughtfully, considerately, not just for you, but for the citizens that live in that neighborhood. Thank you.
Next speaker is Larry Winter of 1 Park Ridge Drive.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I'm Larry Winter, 1 Park Ridge Drive. I am the closest one to the possible rezoning area. First off, Tim covered the arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable, and if I was on the Planning Commission, I would be very angry.
Yes. Yes.
Secondly, Cooper did have representatives at that meeting.
Yes, they did.
Now, in terms of the amount of forest protection, I have a picture showing the back of my home, number 1, and number 3, King's home. Surveyors put pins or stakes at the corners of their property as they survey it. This picture shows a pin and what I consider a stake at the end of the HOA property. And I measured that today at 31 feet. And I request that you vote no and support the Planning Commission. I'll pass this picture around. James.
Thanks.
Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Okay, we are now at the point of the meeting for council member reply. If someone would like to reply to any or all of these, they can.
I'd like to thank everyone for speaking tonight. Mr. Kelly, just for clarification, the discussion was about removing or continuing or not council reply to public comment. So public comment, in my mind, will never leave. This is a discussion about if we should have council reply or not, and I've heard a lot of feedback about it, and it's been really great to learn what the public wants. Also, if I will be available after the meeting if anyone wants to talk, and we can exchange information and set up a meeting time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I guess we're set then on council reply. Action on the minutes. We are dealing with the minutes from December 19, 2022, regular meeting. Does anybody have any corrections, or if not, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
That was Councilman Fowler and Councilman Wilms. Okay, all in favor of approving?
Mayor, we need to call the
Oh,
roll.
a roll call.
And so one
Sorry.
thing I haven't said it just for benefit of everyone. I think it would be helpful, and it actually is according to the rules, to restate the question and then call for the roll. So as the chair, you say the question is on the adoption of the minutes. Please
Oh, okay.
call the roll.
Sorry.
and then we'll-
The question is on the adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting, December 19, 2022.
Councilmember Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed 6-0. Next item is on financial reports. The November financials were sent to the council members under separate cover. The financial reports are available on the city's website, and I believe we put a few copies there if anyone's interested. This is for the time period ending. I just want to make a couple observations about it. For the time period ending November 30, 2022, compared to the prior year, the general fund operating revenues were up $1 million. The city tax was up 13%. Property tax was up 14.9%. So the city's in excellent financial shape and has a very good reserve of funds. So we feel like we're in strong shape right now, and we purposely have been playing it conservative, and I give the prior mayor, Peter Christie, kudos for that, because of the danger of a recession in the upcoming year. Majority economists seem to believe there'd be a recession this year, and we feel like we're in good shape to weather it if it should occur. Next item on the agenda is election of a mayor pro tem.
Mayor, if I could just, we have a little bit different procedure, and so I'll just remind the council of the rule on this. We talked about it before, sent an email to you, but just for the benefit of everyone. This is from your rule. The city council shall, at the time of organizing in public session, elect one of its members as mayor pro tempore. Any council member may nominate himself or any other member of the city council for mayor pro tempore, and no second of a nomination is required. Each council member shall vote by naming his choice by voice vote if there is more than one nominee for a position. A majority vote of the city council shall be required for election. So you can nominate yourself or another person, no second is required, and if we get more than one, then we'll have a vote by name.
Larry?
I would make a motion to nominate Doug Fowler as mayor pro tem for this year.
Okay.
Motion to nominate myself as mayor pro tem for this session.
Any other nominations? Okay, I think we can proceed with the roll call vote then.
So the response will either be Fowler or Hughes.
Council Hanschel,
Fowler.
Wilms.
Fowler. Mr. Fowler.
Hughes,
Hughes.
Fowler,
Fowler.
Wozniak,
Fowler.
Snow.
I'll vote for Ms. Hughes.
So it's 4 for Fowler and 2 for Hughes, Mayor.
Okay, so Mr. Fowler is elected mayor pro tem. At this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules of order and procedure to allow all ordinances on the agenda to be read by title only.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That's motion by Mr. Fowler and second by Ms. Hughes.
Questions on suspension of the rules? Yeah, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Snow,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0. Okay, on unfinished business, an ordinance regulating short-term rentals to provide for the requirement of a permit to operate a short-term rental, to provide for a maximum number of short-term rental permits to be issued, to provide occupancy limits for short-term rentals, to provide a process for revocation of a short-term rental permit, providing penalties for violations and for other purposes. And this was tabled from the October meeting. In light of the fact that we had passed another ordinance on this matter, I'd like to see a motion to table it indefinitely.
So moved.
Second.
That's motion by Mr. Wilms, second by Mr. Snow. Roll call vote.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. On our ordinance number B, under unfinished business, regulating short-term rentals to provide for the requirement of a permit to operate a short-term rental, to provide for a maximum number of short-term rental permits to be issued, to provide occupancy limits for short-term rentals, to provide a process for revocation of a short-term rental permit, providing penalties for violations, and for other purposes. This was also tabled from the October meeting, so I think it would be prudent to have a motion to table it indefinitely.
So moved. Second.
That was a motion by Wozniak and a second by Mr. Fowler.
Council, Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Okay, under new business, number C, an ordinance setting the amount of additional fine to be levied pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated Section 16-17-129 to defray the cost of incarcerating city prisoners and for other purposes.
Mayor, I can answer any questions about this. We spoke about this at the work session. Chief Graves is here. This increases what is collected from violators from $15 to $20 as a jail fee, and we use that money. It can only be used for defraying the cost that we pay to the county to house prisoners. So that's what this is for. This is as most as it can be by state statute. It's still not going to meet our expense, according to Chief Graves, who I believe is here somewhere. I think I saw him. I'm sure he can get more specifics for you, but that's what this is about.
Mr. Wilms?
I have a question. How do we levy that against a particular individual?
I can answer that. So when they plead guilty or are found guilty, the judge levies it against them with the other costs and fines in the case.
So you determine the number of days by?
No. No, each person for each offense they're convicted of pays that fee, whether they're going to jail or not.
So-
This is collected from
so they
every
only pay
person.
$20 then?
Per charge.
Okay.
Per charge. And then that money, even though that person may not be going to jail, we have collected on speeding, every offense that we have over here, speeding and stop signs and headlights and everything. And so then, so they pay that, and we put all that in a fund, and that's used to defray the cost of prisoners that are arrested by the sheriff's, or by the police department and have to be taken to the jail.
So it's not an overnight fee that we get charged? This is a...
No, what you pay, what the city pays to incarcerate prisoners is an entirely different agreement and amount. And that's an agreement that the city has with the sheriff's office. And so this is a collection mechanism to recoup funds. Does not directly relate to what we pay, because we're already not paying, we can't collect enough to reimburse ourselves for all the cost.
Good question.
Make a motion be approved. Second.
That's out of order, because this is first reading. So there would need to be a motion to suspend the rules and go to a third and final reading, if you wish to move forward tonight.
I'll make a motion to suspend rules and go to third and final. Second.
That was a motion by Doug Fowler and a second by Craig Hanschel. So this would be a vote to suspend the rules and go to third and final reading.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
Mayor, we need to go ahead and read the title again. That'll be the third reading.
Okay. Setting the amount of additional fine to be levied pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated 16-17-129 to defray the cost of incarcerating city prisoners and for other purposes. Is there a motion to
I'd
approve?
like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
That was a motion by Doug Fowler, second by Mr. Wozniak. Okay, roll call vote.
Councilman Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next matter is ordinance, amending ordinance number 2022-18 regarding the regulation of short-term rentals to remove the requirement that an address of the property owner and local point of contact be posted inside the short-term rental.
Motion to move to third and final.
It's to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules
And go to third and final.
and then go to third and final.
Second.
That was a motion by Ms. Hughes and a second by Doug Fowler.
Council Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Carried 6-0. I'm going to read the third and final now. Amending ordinance number 2022-18 regarding the regulation of short-term rentals to remove the requirement that an address of the property owner and local point of contact be posted inside the short-term rental.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Doug Fowler and a second by Mr. Wozniak.
Council Snow,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Wilms.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried 6-0. Next ordinance waiving the requirements of formal competitive bidding and authorizing a contract with Superior Automotive Group in the total amount of $47,267 for the purchase of one 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe police vehicle for use by the police department. Chief, for the audience's benefit, might be good if you spoke on this for a minute.
Sure. Normally, every year in the past, the state would go out to bid and get a state bid contract for police vehicles, for all state vehicles the state was going to purchase. Since COVID and the supply chain issues, the state's no longer getting a state bid for police vehicles specifically. So I'm asking for a bid waiver to purchase this police Tahoe. It's not, we're going to use Superior Automotive because they have a supply of them. Police vehicles aren't like normal vehicles that come with some pre-wiring in them for the police lights and some other amenities that normal vehicles don't come with. Dealerships have to order these vehicles now 6-8 months in advance. Superior took an order from us that we weren't held to legally because they knew because it had to be approved by council. But they asked how many vehicles I thought I would need. They purchased them ahead of time. So to go out to bid for a vehicle would be worthless because nobody would have it except for Superior Automotive in Silent Springs. So I'm asking for a bid waiver to purchase this vehicle this time. It's still a very good price. They give us about a $5,500 discount as a city compared to what the normal public would even start to begin to pay.
And I assume we may want to go to third and final on this also.
I would like that so we can.
I'd like to make a motion to move to third and final.
Second.
Suspend the rules.
That was a motion by Doug Fowler and a second by Craig Hansel. Sorry, Larry.
Sorry.
It's close.
Council Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. That was the motion to go to third and final. Now I'll read the third and final. Waiving the requirements of formal competitive bidding and authorizing a contract with Superior Automotive Group in the total amount of $47,267 for the purchase of one 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe police vehicle for use by the police department.
Right, Mayor, may I? Before we move to the vote, I'd just like the audience know that, and that I should, maybe this is to the council too, that all these agenda items we covered off, and we talk about at a work session in detail. So a lot of this would just be reiteration if we did. So it's kind of like watching paint dry right now, I know. And also, just as a secondary point, these purchases are all approved in the city budget for 2023 and prior. So we've already, not only did we talk about it last week, we talked about it during the budgeting process also. So just as an FYI. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
It was a motion by Doug Fowler and second by, is that
Take your choice.
Jim Wozniak?
Council Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes. Motion carries.
A motion carried, was that 6-0? Next ordinance is amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46996, county parcel number 16-26354-000, from P1 Conservation District to R1 Residential Single Family District, and the staff requests move to third and final reading. Is Taylor here? Did you want to just mention what this property covers?
All the way from the back. Okay, so this one's for 58 Rillington Drive. It's a parcel that is on the east side of the city. I don't really have anything new to add from the work session. The applicant may be here tonight. I haven't seen her. Okay, she's here if you guys have any further questions for her, but they're requesting R1 single family home. I've got nothing new since the work session, and it'd be great if we could do a third and final since I had no questions at the work session.
Okay.
It might also be worth mentioning that before it discovered that it was zone P1, the construction of the home was what, like 90% complete or something like that. So, yeah. So I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, go to third and final.
Second.
That was Mr. Fowler and second by Mr. Wozniak.
Council Snow,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wilms.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. I'm going to read it for the third and final now. Amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46996, county parcel number 16-26354-000, from P1 Conservation District to R1 Residential Single Family District.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That was Mr. Fowler and Mr. Wilms.
Council Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Okay, that passed 6-0. Next one is an ordinance amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in zoning petition number 2022-46919, county parcel number 16-70201-001 from P1 Conservation District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. And this is also the staff has requested third and final reading.
Let me ask a silly question. Is this the one that's in big, in contrast with the audience tonight? Is this the one or not?
This is Papa Mike's.
Okay, all right,
This is Scottsdale Clubhouse.
got it.
Oh, okay. Scottsdale Clubhouse.
Motion to move to third and final.
Okay.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Wilms and a second by Craig Hanschel.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0, so I'm going to read it for the third and final. Amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46919. County parcel number 16-70201-001 from P1 Conservation District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Craig Hanschel and second by Doug Fowler.
Council Hughes,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next ordinance is amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46917. County parcel number 16-70265-001 from P1 Conservation District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. And which one is this, Taylor?
This is Lake Avalon Beach.
Oh, okay, this is Lake Avalon Beach, yeah.
I have a motion to amend. And it was passed out to all of you. And the motion to amend is to remove all references in the title.
No,
And
that's the wrong one. It's the,
Yeah, it's the other
the
one.
one in full. It's to replace with what you've got here.
It's a revised ordinance before you, along with a revised legal description. At the work session, I spoke about asking to remove the lands outside the roadway opposite the beach area, and use those as, if you will, fringe areas for the adjacent residential properties as a buffer. And so the motion here is adding section 2, which refers to a revised Exhibit A. Exhibit A is the legal description for the property being rezoned, which includes the Avalon Beach area, but less and except that portion lying north of the center line of Lancaster Drive. Most zoning runs along the center line of a road or highway, and so that's the reference here, is so that all of the area north of Lancaster and west of Lancaster as it goes out to Camden would be not rezoned. It would remain as it is today, as P1. So that's the motion to amend.
Okay.
I would move to...
Can we have some conversation first?
There needs to be a second. to
Yeah,
the
I think we
motion
need a
first
second.
Need a second, okay.
Before we do anything.
Second?
Okay, that was a motion by Larry Wilms and a second by Ms. Hughes.
Now you can have debate on the motion, on the amendment motion.
Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, no, so, Councilmember Wilms, I respect your opinion, on this. But I when you brought it up at the work session, you know, I made sure to drive over and look at it really closely, and I just don't really think it's necessary. I looked at the land in question, you know, the land that borders, what is that? Camden Road. I mean, I don't see how anything, I mean, something could be built there, but I just don't see why it would. It's kind of a wasteland. And then the land on the north side, all along Lancaster, you know, there's a big ravine there behind the home, and then it kind of goes back at an angle and then dips back down, you know, almost, you know, to the road that comes down parallel, coming down from the north. And I don't know that, now let me ask you this question. Is a resurvey of this land required? Does it cost the person to, does it not have to cost anything, you could just do
Based on the
it?
legal description presented here attached, so.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But I just don't think it's necessary personally, so, and that's just my opinion. I just don't think the land is really going to be developed at any point in the future.
Yes, Larry?
I guess the rationale that I had to suggest that we accept the areas north of Lancaster and west of Lancaster next to Camden was that the total parcel size is about 12.2 acres. And the areas of the portions outside of Lancaster adjacent to subdivisions on Bradford Drive and on Knighton Drive are fairly substantial in acreage. It's obviously, if you look at it, probably 1 to 2 acres at least a piece, maybe more. And it allows other uses if we rezone it to commercial that's in the purview of our zoning code. So the property owner could come in and request a use consistent with the district code that it would be zoned, and the planning commission would need to address that and actually would have to approve it in some form. Granted, that may require screening or other things to be done as a part of that development, but I'm thinking that appropriately this would be best left undisturbed from its current character in the interest of the property owners adjacent.
Okay, if there's no one else, I think we can go ahead and vote. The vote would be on the proposed amendment by Mr. Wilms to accept the property north of Lancaster Drive.
Council Snow,
Yes.
Hanschel,
No.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
No.
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler.
Oh,
Mayor, you may choose to vote in favor if you so desire. It is a tie vote.
I choose not to vote.
All right, so that motion would fail. 3-3. Still on first reading.
Yeah,
I would, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, I would offer to move this ahead and go to third and final in its current form.
It's to suspend the rules.
Suspend the
Yeah.
rules and go to third and final at this time.
second.
that was Mr. Wilms and Mr. Fowler. Oh, this is on the vote to go to third and final.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Carried 6-0, so I'll read it for the third and final. Amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46917, county parcel number 16-70265-001, from P1 Conservation District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Hanchel and second by Doug Fowler.
No, this is still on H.
Okay.
Still the same one.
Sorry,
Yeah,
okay.
it's all right.
Council Snow,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes?
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next ordinance is amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46586, county parcel number 16-40234-001, from R1 residential single-family district to C2 light commercial district.
Right, this is the time, this is the one that goes with that.
Okay. Where's that? On this one, I would offer an amendment, Mr. Mayor, that we amend this ordinance to remove all references in the title and in section 1 of the proposed ordinance that's made to C2 light commercial district and replace it with C1 neighborhood commercial district in both in the preparation of our zoning map way back in about 2011 or 14. I'm not sure which exactly it was done. There were a lot of things that were not fully considered in keeping with the parcel locations and type. There are subdivision plats that have outlots in them that we've addressed with requests by the developer to rezone them to residential from existing P1 zoning or to a commercial classification in some cases. What we have is a situation here where arbitrarily the R1 zoning was selected for the adjacent vacant land south of the cemetery on Buxton Drive. The C1 zoning provides more restrictions for development than does the C2 category, and I would move in this move to amend the ordinance as I've specified for the interest of protecting the property owners there and providing more control by the city of any development that would occur.
Is there a second?
Second.
So that was motion by Mr. Wilms, second by Doug Fowler. Any further discussion?
This is on the amendment only at this point.
Right.
Okay, I guess roll call vote.
Okay, Snow,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
Still on first reading.
Yeah.
Mr. Kelly, could you speak to the consideration given to zoning by a city council?
Well, there's a lot there. So I have presented you in the past with a memo, and there's a lot of things you can consider when it comes to whether to rezone. Compatibility with the master plan. You can look at traffic, you can look at lighting, you can look at noise problems, you can look at utility issues, you can look at sound and noise issues. So you can look at all those things. One of the things you can't do, one of the things you need to do is look at potential rezoning, and you have the schedule of uses in your code that say if it's C2, it can be all these things. If it's C1, it can be all these things. And when it comes time for rezoning, it's not a time to really know what specifically could occur. you know that anything in that list could occur. So you need to look at all those uses and make sure that you can deal with the fact that whatever any of those uses may bring are not, that meets those criteria that you can look at. So that, I mean, there's more detail to it, and but those are the sorts of things you look at.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted, because generally you'll send that memo out, when there's a rezone that could be debatable, right? What I'd like to do on this one is kind of take a step back from it, so people would have an opportunity to review what C1 zoning is versus C2. From just a personal standpoint, I'd like people to know that I did go to the property, I did get out of my vehicle, I did walk it. I still have a few scratches from the brambles, from being able to do that. I tried to walk to the back of the property and see where the boundary stakes were placed, and I didn't see any they were maybe up closer to the road. But I'd like an opportunity just to review it additionally myself, and any resident would like to have a conversation about it, feel free to contact me, and I'll be more than happy to do that. But anyway, I'd like to take a step back, because I said this is the first reading, and we can still go through 2 more past this, so.
Anybody else? Yes?
I guess, for the public's benefit, any property owner is permitted to submit an application to rezone their property, assuming that it's not designated for some purpose that can't be rezoned. As an example, a platted residential lot in Bella Vista is designated as residential. We've chosen to call those R1 zoning, meaning single-family residential sites. Anyone can come in that owns a vacant lot, and they could ask if it's on a corner of a busy street. They could say, well, I'd like to rezone that lot to C1. And so while it's a valid request, the reality is that the covenants restrict the use of the platted residential lots to be single-family only, and that if we were to rezone that in the response to the owner, it would make the lot basically useless in value, because the covenants would not allow commercial development to be put there, even though legally the city could rezone it to C1. But it would be a disservice to the property owner to do that. So you have to look at what the covenants say, what's been platted as single family or otherwise in the city when you take into consideration a petition to rezone. And so in this case here, we think that the appropriate usage is commercial along here per our adopted comprehensive plan, in keeping with the residents and their concern about impacts, making it C1 instead of C2 does, at least in one step, do that. Requires additional approvals and limits the development.
Anybody else? Okay.
So Mayor, it'll go on to second reading next month if there's nothing further on that.
Yes, okay. Next matter is an ordinance amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46916, county parcel number 16-03464-002, from R1 residential single-family district to C1 neighborhood commercial district, and the staff requests moving to third and final on this one also. Taylor, which one is this? What?
This is the one with Papa Mike's and Kingsdale.
Oh, okay. So is there a motion to go to third and final?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, go to third and final.
Is there a second?
Second.
So that was a motion by Doug Fowler, second by Craig Honchel.
Council Hughes,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes. Yes.
Motion passed 6-0. I'll read the third and final now. Amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46916, county parcel number 16-03464-002, from R1 residential single-family district to C1 neighborhood commercial district.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Craig Honchel, second by Doug Fowler.
Council Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried 6-0. Next ordinance is amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46918, county parcel number 16-43419-000, from R1 residential single-family district to C1 neighborhood commercial district, and staff requests third and final reading. Which one was this, Taylor?
This is the tenured golf range and
Oh, okay.
merchandise center.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and go to third and final.
Second.
Motion by Doug Fowler, second by Larry Wilms. Motion to go to third and final.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
and Hanschel.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. I'll now read it for the third and final. Amending the Bella Vista zoning ordinance and map to rezone property described in rezoning petition number 2022-46918, county parcel number 16-43419-000, from R1 residential single-family district to C1 neighborhood commercial district. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Larry Wilms, second by Doug Fowler.
Council Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hanschel.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Next item is a resolution expressing support and participation of the City of Bella Vista in the federal Advance Effective Accountable Policing and Criminal Justice Practices to Enhance Public Trust and Public Safety program. And if you'll recall from the work session, Chief Graves described this as the so-called LESO program that we've been involved in with the federal government, where they give us free equipment from time to time, excess equipment that they have. Any discussion? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I guess, for clarification, Chief, I think as you told us at the work session, this will not compromise our ability to obtain surplus equipment at any time, or the disposal of that should we find that we don't need it after we own it.
No, all this does is just every year with the new executive order, the city council has to affirm their willingness to participate in the program. We can discontinue any time as a city. Non-control items we can dispose of in a year's time if we deem we don't need them any longer.
So what you're saying is that this will be an annual event, this resolution?
Yes, as long as this executive order is in power, I guess.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Wilms. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jim Wozniak. So this is a vote on motion to approve Resolution L.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next one is a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with emergency vehicle specialists pursuant to an HGAC cooperative purchasing agreement for the purchase of 12 self-contained breathing apparatuses and associated equipment in an amount not to exceed $94,770.41 for use by the fire department. So this is equipment the fire department uses in fighting fires, and it's replacing existing equipment that, as I recall, is quite old, maybe 2000, I want to say 2005 era, something like that.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Wozniak, second by Mr. Wilms.
Council Snow,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next one is a resolution approving the mayor's reappointment of Wade Hagan for a 3-year term in position 1 of the Bella Vista Board of Construction Appeals commencing January 1, 2023. So Mr. Hagan has been on the board and has expressed a willingness to serve for another 3-year term.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Craig Hanschel, second by Doug Fowler.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hanschel.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next one's a resolution awarding bid and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with Reliable Chevrolet of Springfield, Missouri in the total amount of $45,500 for the purchase of one Chevrolet Silverado 1500 4x4 work truck for use by the street department.
Move to be approved. Second.
Motion by Jerry Snow and second by Jim Wozniak.
Council Hughes,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Snow.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next one is a resolution appointing Wendy Hughes to the Bella Vista Advertising and Promotion Commission as a council member commissioner in place of John Flynn, who is resigning.
Yeah, so just quickly, typically, the Advertising Promotion Commission would develop a list of prospects, to fill an open seat. In this particular case, though, that's not our responsibility. We have 7 commission members on the Advertising Promotion Commission, otherwise known as Discover Bella Vista. Whenever John resigned, we are required to have either the mayor and a council member, or 2 council members. So in this particular case, it's a city council member that's required, and that would come from approval of the city council and not a recommendation of the Advertising Promotion Commission.
Okay?
Motion to approve.
Second.
That was motion by Doug Fowler, and was second by
Mr. Wozniak.
Wozniak? Okay.
Council Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wilms.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Next one is a resolution approving the mayor's appointment of Linda Lloyd to the Bella Vista Planning Commission to complete the unexpired term of Craig Hanschel due to his election to the city council.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Wozniak, second by Larry Wilms.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Snow.
You want to abstain?
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0 with one abstain. Next one's a resolution designating the authorized dispersing officers and municipal depository board for the city of Bella Vista for calendar year 2021.
2023, actually.
2023, yeah.
Motion to
Sorry,
approve.
my mistake.
Second.
That was
Okay.
Mr. Wozniak, second by Doug Fowler.
Council Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Next one's a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with Wichita Kenworth pursuant to a Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement for the purchase of one new production model dump truck with salt spreader and snowplow equipment in the amount of $254,452.
Motion to approve. Second.
That was Mr. Wozniak, second by Mr. Wilms.
I'd only just like to say, just for everybody's, notice, that, once again, this was in the 2023 budget, so we've already reviewed this as a city council. So these are not extra expenditures or anything. They're all accounted for. That's it.
Yeah, and I think we had to wait for about 10 months. I mean,
Yeah,
This
yeah.
has been a long time coming, so. Okay, roll call vote.
Council Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. The next resolution is awarding bid and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with Pinnacle Emergency Vehicles in an amount not to exceed $236,637 for a remount of a 2011 4x4 Chief XL Braun ambulance for the fire department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yeah, Chief, does this complete the remount of all of our ambulances now?
It completes all the older models. We have one that will be probably in a couple of years that needs to be remounted.
Okay, that's why I think this is about the third one, I think, since I've been on council.
It
And
is.
you know what, just I'd like to take the opportunity, last Sunday after church, we usually go to lunch and things, and I'm able to go occasionally. But there was a lady there that, recently lost her husband, and she could not say enough good things about our EMS services, and when they would have to make a call for the ambulance to come out, just meant so much to her. And I just recognition of, your department, your staff, your EMS members. And I actually had an opportunity to witness them in action. My next door neighbor had to call an ambulance, and she called me first, and I went over, but you guys arrived while I was there. And just watching, your department handle and manage that situation was really awesome. They had no clue who I was as far as a city council member. I mean, they're not putting on any airs. I mean, why would they anyway? It's an emergency. But I was just, it's just really great work, that your people do. So, yeah.
Mayor, I don't know if we got on the record a motion or a second on that or not. We probably need to read that again.
I have Snow.
Mr. Snow and Mr. Wozniak.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
the mayor didn't announce it, so.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I got it. I was gonna ask, make sure Wanda did, so I'm glad she did. But yeah, I'd like to second what Mr. Snow said. When I was campaigning, I heard nothing but good things about the fire department and the ambulance service and the whole 9 yards. I thought it was great, so I think we need to have a vote, right?
Right.
Yep.
Council Wilms,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel.
Yes. Motion carried 6-0. Next one is a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with Clinard Construction Management, Inc. for construction management services related to the remodeling of the current police station into an extension of the central fire station at Town Center and for other improvements to the facility.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That was Mr. Wozniak and Mr. Fowler. Before we vote, I wanted to explain this is for an upgrade in Fire Station number 1. Particularly the first part of it is we're going to upgrade the living quarters for the firemen in there. It's badly overdue, and once the police exit that building, it'll give us an opportunity to work on fixing it up for them. So that's what this is about. So you can go ahead with the roll call vote. Oh, go ahead, Larry.
This is a budgeted item in our capital improvement budgets for 2023 that's been approved, so.
Okay.
Okay. Council Snow,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Wozniak,
Yes.
Wilms.
Yes.
Motion
Sorry, I
carried
did that
6-0.
I did Wilms twice, I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
You still sure about it, Larry?
At least you voted the same way both times.
Good deal there.
Mayor, when will the police department be exiting the building? Do we know?
That's
right. Good idea, I thought about that.
Yeah, it's going to be, my understanding is it's going to be gradual during the months of January and February. Police chief, he was asking when you'd be exiting the building.
So our IT department's this week starting to get Wi-Fi and everything up and running, and that's gonna take about 3 weeks, and so there's no use us getting in there prior to then, but the move-in process will really start near the end of the month, and probably the first 3 weeks in February until we're fully moved in.
Thank you.
Looked like they were moving furniture in today.
Well, yeah, so the furniture was delivered, because that was, by contract, it was delivered like a month ago. It's been sitting in the training area, and as rooms get ready and punch listed, they are unloading furniture. So that, the new furniture has been delivered, and it's being set up as the rooms are punch listed.
Okay, thank you. Next resolution is authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a 9th amended animal services contract for animal sheltering services with Bella Vista Animal Shelter, Inc.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That's Mr. Wozniak and, what's that?
Craig.
Mr. Hanschel. I was going to explain, this is an amendment changing the amount the city gives the animal shelter from $4,000 a month to $5,000 a month. And we also give them stipend for every dog and cat, which I don't recall exactly what amount that is. So go ahead with the roll call vote.
I guess in recognition of the animal shelter, they do a lot of programs to try and help funding themselves with different fundraiser processes. So it's not only the contract with the city that they earn their money, it is through other activities that the shelter proceeds with.
Yes, they do quite a bit of fundraising, so yeah, they work really hard at that. So. Go ahead with the roll call.
Council Wozniak,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Hanschel,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Wilms,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Resolution carried 6-0. Meetings and announcements. The next city council work session will be 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 21. It's moved to Tuesday because of President's Day. Next city council regular meeting is 6:30 p.m. Monday, February 27. Planning Commission work session is at 4:30 p.m. Thursday, February 2. And Planning Commission regular meeting, 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 13. So if there's nothing else,
There's another one on the.
Nope. Okay. Oh, Board of Construction Appeals is at 3 p.m. Tuesday, February 14, if necessary, at Bella Vista District Court. So if there's nothing else, meeting's adjourned. I'd like to thank the council for all their hard work and the city clerk. Thank you very much.
Great job.